Kia ora! Welcome to Biyaheng New Zealand. I am your host, Binibining Veronica. On this episode, our guest prefers to remain anonymous. So instead, she sent a letter narrating her 2 weeks experience inside a managed isolation facility here in New Zealand. Before 2020 finally ended, I left Singapore for good. The airport was so quiet, walang tao, parang ghost town dahil sa pandemic. Upon arrival in Auckland Airport, there were medical staff members who checked for temperature and asked questions about COVID-19 symptoms. Afterwards, I proceeded in customs and presented my documents. My luggage was also scanned. The staff allocated me to a managed isolation facility. The purpose of managed isolation is to ensure people do not have COVID-19 before they return to the community. All facilities used for isolation and quarantine are carefully selected and closely monitored to keep New Zealand safe. These facilities are located throughout the country. Specifically, there are facilities in Auckland, Hamilton, Rotorua, Wellington, and Christchurch. In my experience, I was transferred to a managed isolation facility in Auckland. I was charged 3,100 New Zealand dollars for this, but my employer paid half of it. I am still very lucky because as far as I know, the fee was increased to 5,500 New Zealand dollars for critical workers effective January 1, 2021. Anyway, we maintained 2-meter social distancing in the airport and as we lined up for boarding in the shuttle. There were also hand sanitizers and passengers wore masks at all times. If you are enjoying this video, please don't forget to hit like and subscribe. Salamat po! Upon reaching the hotel facility, we were still observing social distancing. Passengers stepped out of the bus one at a time and the luggage were also placed in a line. Once I've identified my luggage, the staff kindly delivered it to my room. We were also welcomed by New Zealand Defense Force. I think ito yung parang military dito. We were also given a welcome pack and a lot, as in sandamakmak na face mask. There were also information about the rules pertaining to our stay, booklets from New Zealand government. Next, we queued for the front desk. I was given my room number and they asked me to choose my meal for the next 2 days. The succeeding meal choices will be via phone app. Ito pa yung malupit, may palibreng SIM card si Mayor. I noticed that staff regularly cleaned the chairs used for individual orientation and desks were also routinely cleaned with disinfectant wipes. Before proceeding to the lift, we were also given midnight snacks. O diba, san ka pa? Every entry and exit points in the lifts has hand sanitizers. Posters to remind everyone to sanitize their hands regularly were also visible. Meals were distributed from 8 to 9:30 a.m., 12 to 1:30 p.m., and 6 to 7:30 p.m. It depends on your food choice for the main course, but each meal for breakfast included fruit servings with drink, coffee, tea, chocolate for breakfast plus juice. Lunch and dinner included both fruit and vegetable serving plus dessert. My meals were delivered inside a brown paper bag and were left just outside my room. Staff knocked on doors to inform guests that food was served. After I finished my meal, I had to place it in an allocated paper bag. Staff can also do groceries for hotel guests. They'll just give you some form to fill up in case you want to get anything special. On the other hand, there's a complimentary bar in the room which includes additional coffee, chocolate powder, tea, and sugar. Each room has a fridge along with electric kettle, mugs, glasses, and utensils. For entertainment, cable channels are installed as well. Name it, they have it. Well, I guess except for TFC. Merong CNN, BBC, Fox, and Al Jazeera, Sky News, TVNZ, Access to Movies, shows for kids and cartoons, Food Network, and sports channels. Otherwise, you can connect to Netflix or YouTube via Bluetooth from your phone. Access to Wi-Fi was also complimentary. You can connect maximum of 5 devices per room up to 2 Mbps speed. Toilet amenities include bathtub, towels, hair dryer, toilet paper, and toiletries like shampoo, conditioner, shower gel, hand soap, and many more. Next, let's talk about laundry. Linen is provided every 5 days. On the 3rd and 8th day, a paper was slipped under my door asking if I wanted to change my linens and towels. Clean items were placed inside a black plastic bag outside the door. There's also an allocated bin for dirty linens. Overall, there were 2 laundry bags allotted for the whole duration of my stay. For your reference, requesting for extra bags also meant additional charges. Before we talk about temperature checks and swab tests, if you are enjoying this video, please hit like, subscribe, and turn on the notification bell so you will know when I upload new videos just like this one. Salamat po! Temperature checks were done every day, at any time of the day. The nurse usually knocked on my door and asked how I felt that day. She also kept a record of my temperature. Swab tests were done on 3rd and 11th day. Please note that I arrived in New Zealand late 2020, so there may be some changes with the frequency of swab testing by the time you are watching this video. During my stay in the isolation facility, I wore a mask every time I opened the door, even if I'm just getting my food back, answering health checks, or taking fresh linens. I also wore a mask when I go out in the garden area for some sunshine and fresh air. We were allowed to go to the garden for minimal outdoor exercise. There was also a designated smoking area. When I went to the garden area, staff confirmed my room number and reminded me to use hand sanitizers. There were also men from Defense Force to ensure that social distancing is being observed. Only maximum of 20 people were allowed in the garden and each person was given 30 minutes. Masks were strictly worn at all times. For me, I actually prefer to do exercises in my own room. Sa room ko naman, I never use the aircon at all kasi nga sanay ako sa outer temperature na 35 or 36 degrees Celsius, diba? Tapos pagdating ko dito, kahit na it's a bright sunny day, maximum temperature was 24 degrees pa rin. Overall, the people here in the facility were so warm and accommodating. They were always in high spirits every time they answered the phone. Para sa akin naman, until now, I still can't believe that I am in New Zealand. There were many heartaches along my journey, but these have all turned into blessings. If you want to listen to the detailed journey of our anonymous guests from Singapore to New Zealand, then you should click this link right here. Otherwise, you can check out more stories from nurses in New Zealand and who knows? Maybe the next video you'll watch is about your Biyaheng New Zealand episode with me, Binibining Veronica. As always, I wish you all the best with your journey and I hope you will be blessed. I'll see you soon. Bye!